Hey guys, so in this episode we will be covering capturing monsters. Every time you win a battle, that monster now goes into your storage, and that only takes a few minutes. The vast majority of this video will cover leveling and gaining new skills, and most of it's actually incorporating that into the game. So let's get on to it. So the first thing that I want to do is actually capture a creature after you beat it in battle, and that way you can grow your storage base, maybe capture rare breeds, and and use them to create even rarer breeds by breeding two pairs together. The code itself is really simple, and we've already got a place in OBJ Battle Manager. We've already got a comment ready for the code to go in there. We just haven't done it yet. So we're going to say for var I equals 0, I is less than global dot features size I plus plus. If GA storage I0 equals -1. So if there's not a monster in this slot, then for var j equals 0, j is less than, oh my bad, sorry, I want a feature size here, because we're going to go through the whole array of one monster. So whatever features this enemy had is going to go into storage, but we should be checking max monsters here. So obj main.max monsters, which is 12. So we're going to check all 12 entries, and if any one of these entries is empty, the first one that's empty, we're going to copy the information over from this enemy that we've just defeated. So j is less than global.a feature size j plus plus, and then ga storage I, because this entry is empty, and then j, because you want to run through the whole iteration of the features, equals a. And is it enemy? Let me just check that. Enemy A features, that'll be the one. J. And then after the loop, we want to say break, because we only want to copy it over once. And this will stop this for loop. So let's just check this is working. So I'm going to delete all the monsters apart from our circle dude. And let's get into our battle. Okay, so we won. So we go back to our base. We should see that monster, new monster. So if we now add these two monsters, we can breed them together and get the exact same one. Let's try that again. One. There we go. And that's how we're going to make new breeds from the monsters we capture. The next thing we are going to cover is leveling. I was just going to make like a basic system where you get so many kills and you gain a few hit points, maybe attack and defense, but that's not really very interesting, and it's not really in the spirit of a monster breeding game. What we really want is to have different breeds of monster, gaining different stats, maybe different skills as they level up. So we're going to make a few changes based on that. So in GA stats, in the SCR init arrays script, we're going to say GA stats 04 equals 1. This is HP gain multiplier. GA stats 05 equals 1. Attack gain multiplier. GA stats 06 equals 1, which is the defense gain multiplier. Let's just copy this and paste it for the square. Oops. And for the hexagon, just update the numbers. Incidentally, if you have a lot more arrays than I do, it's going to be a lot easier for you to do something like this. So I'm just going to do this in the comments. So for example, monster counter equals 0. Just copy this. And the first part of the entry, oh my god, what have I done? Is just going to be monster counter. Obviously have a variable that's a lot shorter, but this is just so you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then after you do the array monster counter plus plus, what I normally do in games is I will have like a blank copy in comments like this, and then something like this. And so I'll just, whenever I need a new entry in the array, I'll copy it, paste it, and then I'll say this is the first one, add the stats in here, and then next one, paste another one, etc, etc. And it's just a lot faster than manually changing the numbers every time, especially if you're adding new things. So that's just a tip to save you a lot of time, really. Okay, so where are we up to? So in the square, it has more hit points than everybody else. So we're going to say hit point gain multiplier is 1.2. Attack gain multiplier 0.8. Defense gain multiplier will be 1. Hexagon, less HP, so it's going to gain less HP per level. Attack, he'll have more attack, but he'll have less defense. It's like a glass cannon. Alright, so those are the changes to the base stats. We also need to let our system know when they are going to gain new skills. Actually, let's just put my plan into action here. Just copy this, because we're going to add a few new skills that you can level up to and achieve. We're going to call it attack counter. and then I just have to change these entries that we already have. Just in case you don't know, you can press Control F, and you can, let's have a look. You can say, if you've got the words monster and you want to change it to monster breed, you can just do this really quickly. I can't really do that with what I'm changing because it will change other values that I've already got, so it's not really relevant for me right now, but it may be for you. Let's make this a variable. So we'll say this is called slap. Minimum damage 1, max damage 5, chance to hit 50. Let's make another one. It's number 3. We'll call this one stare. No. Kick. It doesn't have any legs, but it can still kick. That's fine. Min damage 2, max damage 3, chance to hit 60. Just arbitrary values for now. Balance is not a thing right now. So, punch, min damage 1, max damage 3. So it's a stronger version of hit, but with a, well, it's the same power, but with a better chance to hit. Let's add a few more. Scream, min damage 2, max damage 4, chance to hit 75. And last one, I don't gaze. Damage 3, max damage 3, chance to hit 50. Okay, that will do for now for the attacks. So now we have this, we're going to have a new array and we're going to call it GA leveling. And we're going to say for var I equals 0, I is less than 31, I plus plus. Actually, so that should be the inside for loop. We want for var I equals 3 because I've only got 3 monster types. So actually, what I should be doing is using the array size of GA stats. So var equals 0, I is less than array length 2D. Oops. Oh no, I want height 2D. And this is going to be GA stats. So we're gonna now let the game know what extra abilities each of these types can get when they level up. And J is just the levels they have. They're not actually going to level to 0, but we're just going to have it there for now. So -1 is going to be no skill gained. So GA leveling IJ equals -1. This is just to initialize the array. Because we need to create the array first, just to be able to reference it properly. And now we're going to add specific abilities. So for circle, GA leveling 0, we'll say 10. When you reach level 10, you gain punch, which should be number 4. GA leveling 20, 020 equals 5. And for the square, GA leveling 110. We'll give it kick, which is 3. Oh no, we'll give it slap. GA leveling 120. Give it kick, which is 3. And hexagon, GA leveling 210. Have we used slap yet? Yeah. We'll give it scream and gaze. No. Punch. We've used them all at least once apart from gaze, so we shall give it slap, which is 2, and GA leveling 220 equals 6 for gaze. So when these creatures reach a certain level, they'll gain a new skill. That's the point of this anyway. Alright. As the code in each event grows, you're going to find it harder and harder to find what you need. It's going to take you longer and longer to get there as well. There's a pretty cool feature in GameMaker 2 called regions. It's just a really good way to organize your code. So, for example, all you need to type would be region and then GA stats and then at the bottom here we'd say end region. And now that we've done this, we can now minimize it. Do the same for attacks, region, GA, attacks, scroll down, and region, minimize it, and lastly region, GA, leveling at the bottom, and region. It's just really useful for when your game gets bigger and bigger. It makes finding what you're looking for very easy. Just be careful you don't create regions inside blocks of code, like inside the middle of an if statement, because then things might get a bit messy. So just try and limit yourself to one chunk of code being one region. Alright, so let's continue. Okay, so we're going to make a few additions to our A features array inside obj main. So the first one is going to be A features 6 equals 1, which is level. So every monster is going to start at level 1. A features 7 equals 0, which is the XP experience points that they've earned so far. So now we're going to need a script to check whether our monster gains a level or not. So let's call it SCR leveling, and we're going to say var XP gained equals argument 0. So we're going to pass it how much XP the monster's worth that we just defeated, and we're going to say A features 7 plus equals XP gained, and total XP needed. Oh no, sorry, let's call it XP till next level equals A features 6 times 10, which is the level of our current monster. So level 1 requires 10, level 2 requires 20, etc, etc. And now we're going to check to see if this monster has enough experience. So check to see if monster has enough XP to level up. We're going to say if, let's make one more variable, sorry, var total XP equals A features 7. Just to make this a bit easier to read, if total XP is greater than or equal to XP till next, that should be capital N, next level. Let's change this. Just in case you want to check your own spelling, if you double click or highlight a variable name, any matching variable name will also highlight. It's just an easy way to check for the spelling of everything, really, especially if you just change something like I did. So if total XP is greater than or equal to XP to next level, then level up. So we're going to say A features 6 plus plus, so it increases by 1. Stat gain. So we're going to need to have stats added onto the features. So A features 8 HP 9 and 10. HP plus equal to let's check this. GA stats for okay, so HP will gain by the multiplier. Is that right? Yeah. And then times by, say, 4. No, let's change that. Let's do plus equals to A features 8 is existing HP times by plus 4 and then times by GA stats monster type. And then I've forgotten again. 4. And then we want to, we'll do ceiling. See you later, Christian. And we'll do a similar equation for attack and defense. 9 and 10. But we'll say plus 2 for those. I'm not really keen on this system right now, but because they're going to get really powerful really quickly. But we're just going to leave it as it is for now, just for testing purposes. Because we can always change this equation later on, like mess with the different figures. Okay, but we do have to now modify our OBJ main array. So A features 8 equals 0 HP. A features 9 equals 0 attack, and A features 10 equals 0 defense. Okie doke. So that array is getting larger and larger. So we're going to need to do a little editing to take into account the fact we've now got some new additions to our array, and they're not all going to start off at -1. So let's go into SCR create monsters. Just add this into comments just so I can keep track of it. And we shall say if I is less than 6, then set it to -1. Else, if I equals 6, then we want this to become 1, and for the stats, well, if I equals 7, then GA storage HI equals 0, else if I is greater than or equal to 9, GA storage HI equals GA stats monster type I minus, let's check, sorry, this should be greater than or equal to 8 because we can do the HP, attack and defense. So HP is number 4. Oops. So I minus 4. And that should give us monsters that start at level 1. So level, experience points, and HP, attack, defense. Okie doke. Just going to pause here for a minute. Okay, so we will need to change our breeding scripts as well because in this particular game I'm going to make it so that the child will gain half, the mean of each parent's attack, defense and HP. So what we need to say is if in SCR breed, if I is less than 8, no, less than 6, then do this. So this is going to be gain parental features, else, and this is going to be gain mean levels XP HP, attack, defense. Well, one thing we could do to make breeding more effective is say that every child starts from level 1. So we'll say child A features and level is it 6, I think? No, 7, 6 equals 1, level 1, and HP 7. No, this is XP, sorry. XP child A features 7 equals 0. HP child A features 8 equals parent 1 dot A features 8 plus parent 2 dot A features 8 divided by 2. And we can actually do this as a loop rather than typing it 3 times. We'll say for var k, no, that was a loop. Let me think about this for a minute. Yeah, I've been doing this wrong. So if I is equal to 6, do this. If I is equal to 7, do this. If I is greater than or equal to 8, then do this. Child features I equals this plus this divided by 2. So if we've got 2 level 3 parents, then the level 1 child's are going to be pretty strong at level 1. And now that we've done this, if we click on the child monster, all of its new stats and everything, including features, will be transferred to GA storage. Okay, so now we've done that, we now want to check that we're carrying these features. Let me just check that now. Okay, so if we're choosing a monster, it's going to get copied over. So the next thing to check is going to be the spawn battles object. So if we have a monster, we're going to copy it. Otherwise, copy from the first available monster. Okay, cool. So the last thing we want to check really, or need to change, sorry, is going to be in the battle manager. and it's going to be in the initialization stage. So instead of having player a stats I equals GA stats type I, let's just comment this out. We're going to say player. So I realized I made a mistake when copying over HP attack and defense. So it should be I minus 7 because HP, the current HP is number 1 in GA stats. Okay. Just going to check the rest of the scripts again. One more thing I want to change is in SCR leveling. I just want to get the brackets around the whole calculation, because seal is sealing. It just means we're going to round up to the nearest integer. We want to get this whole calculation sorted out. Okay. Back to Battle Manager. If we just say player a stats I equals a player a features I plus 8, that should give us the HP attack and defense, and so we don't have to change any other parts of the script. Enemy A features. So the only thing we need to do now is make sure our enemy has a level, and whatever level the enemy is, then we're going to gain experience points by that through SCR leveling. So Battle Manager gain experience points. So script leveling, and then we want enemy A features and its level, which is going to be 6. Pass that along, and that should run our leveling script. And we should really be saying obj main .a features for this, or we could just say with obj main, and that will mean we don't have to type obj main dot in front of everything. We need to change this as well. Inside obj spawn battles, we want for var I equals 0, I is less than global dot a feature size I plus plus. If I is less than 6, player A features I equals other dot a features I. Enemy a features I equals I random 2. And then for this, so this is facial features, and for stats, if I equals 6, which is level, for now we're just going to say enemy a features 6, or sorry, I equals 1. You could change this to enemy a features is going to be the same as the player a features, so whatever level the player is, then that's what level the monster is going to be. So let's do the player one first. A features I equals, do we need to do this? Alright, we can just actually copy the whole thing for the player A features, because we're just copying directly from the spawn battles array, which is a direct copy of obj.main. This game is so badly designed. Yeah, there's a lot better ways to do this stuff. I'm just trying to make it as a straightforward and easy in baby steps. But if you were going to design a game from scratch, that all these features would be designed in one go. We wouldn't have to keep changing it bit by bit. Okay, so player A features is going to be a direct copy. And then also for enemy, we want to have random features, and then if I equals 6, a features I equals 1, or features I equals player. This is the code to use if you want to make the enemy the same level as the player instead of 1, because you might have different rooms that have different levels of monster. So you might have like monster level as a variable for the room, and then that's how you would change the level for this particular enemy. But for right now, level 1 is fine. If I equals, greater than or equal to 8, then enemy A features I equals GA stats monster type. I've got a feeling that I've used this variable before. I've got a feeling that I've used this variable before about 10 minutes ago, and I did not declare it, which is going to give us an error. But I'll fix that in a minute. So monster type equals enemy A features 0. Monster type, so it's going to be 1 is HP. we're just going to give it base stats for now. So for leveled enemies, we'd need to use the same calculation as this. But right now, I just want a basic enemy. Not one. So I minus 7, because you want 1 to 3. Let me just check that. Yeah, awesome. Okay. Just going to pause again while I hunt down that other monster type variable that I didn't do properly. There we go, OBJ main. So create monsters, line 33. Monster type equals GA storage H0. Now let's run the game and see if everything works as it should do. I am expecting some errors. There's one. Create monsters line 34. Okay, so the reason we had an error then, it said GA stats. Well, it was saying that, where is it? Either GA storage or GA stats was not an array. It didn't say which one. But because we don't create GA stats until this script, we're trying to call it in this script. So before we've even created GA stats, we're trying to call it, and that's why we are getting the error. That kind of error used to really take me a while to figure out, and that's why I know what the problem is. Let me just check in this script to make sure we're not calling something else that comes before it. If not, we can have this before everything. Yeah, everything else looks okay to me. So in OBJ main, we're just going to move this to the very top before the rest of the scripts. Let's run the game again. Let's take the red one. If we're going to get errors, it's probably going to be now. There we go. So, out of range, player A features. Battle Manager line 7. Step event. Okay, it's because I is going to go to 11, and we only have the array only goes up to 10, and that's why it's saying variable index out of range, because we don't have an 11th entry for the A features array. So let's think about this for a minute, because we want 8, 9, and 10. Copy 8, 9, and 10 of A features, or player A features. So what we can say is, okay, so because the first entry in the array is a string, that's what I didn't take into account last time. So say if I equals 0, then player a stats I equals GA stats type I, and then copy this as well. So that's for the name. And then else if I is greater than 1, player a stats I equals player a features, and we want I plus 7 because it's going to be 1 to 3. Let me just check if we copied a full array for this as well. Yeah, we did. So we can just do the same for enemy A features. Now let's run the game. Okay, so you've got 0 HP. Oh, I think, yeah, because we started them off with 0, didn't we? I think, is that why? And they're both hexagons, and they have 12 and 8. Let's just check if that's correct. Yeah, so the attack and defense is right, but not the HP. So after about 20 minutes of checking every iteration of the hit points, I found that on line 12 of OBJ Battle Manager in the step event, I set it as I greater than 1, and it should really be greater than or equal to 1 because it was missing out the hit point variable, and that's why the hit points was showing as 0. So now if I run the game, we shouldn't have any problems. Cool, so we now have all the stats in place. What I haven't done is I haven't tested leveling, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. And I also haven't tested, we haven't coded checking for skill gains. So all we were going to do is in the code where we check for skills, we're just going to check the level of each of the monsters, and if they should have a skill, then they'll be able to use it. But I'm going to leave it here for now because it's a bit of a long episode so far, and I've got a lot of editing to do. So I'll get on with that. Bye for now.